The 2025 season of League of Legends is finally announced. We have the full details of what is to come, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do to update this game. Hi, if you're new here, my name is David Shynock. I'm a League of Legends content creator, LCS Press, and I focus on the LoL Esports side of things. So when watching this, it's not just going to be like the for fun point of view, which by all means, I play in a rec league. I play the game consistently, even though I am definitely done playing the game for the year because this current season of ranked is freaking atrocious. But all of this does have an impact on pro play, and I think like just the ability for people to enjoy the game of League of Legends, which gets more people into the system, and then all of a sudden North America is the biggest region in the world again. I know that's cope. I'm sorry, it's what I do. But without further ado, let's get into this. Let's watch it live.
Hey folks, I'm Andre, also known as Medler.
Odds that we get voice
also
comms?
known as Pabro. We're back with the final dev update of 2024. Today is November 8th. We just wanted to give you a warning. We will be talking about arcane spoilers in our first section. So if you haven't finished the finale, skip to the time on the screen.
Okay, spoiler disclaimer out of the way. Let's take a moment to talk about Arcane. It's been such an amazing journey to watch the story play out. And like many of you, we're sad it's over. But don't worry, we do still have a few more things in store on the game side. When we got started on Season 1, we got to watch the champions in Arcane live out stories we'd already seen or knew a little bit of. Or in some cases, we got to really flesh out the backstory of some older champions.
With Season 1, Caitlyn received a visual update to better align the game and the show.
And
for
Victor's
Season
coming
2,
next.
we're doing something similar for Victor.
Yep.
And tomorrow, you'll see his update hit PBE.
We're not pulling a Gangplank and disabling him because he's dead.
Well, hold on. I think you're onto something with killing Gangplank and other characters. Okay.
Wait, because
Anyway, we
pause.
wanted to better represent his evolved, powered-up form we saw in Arcane, and the personality
That's not
that goes
confirmed,
along with
brother.
it. Victor's update is primarily focused on updating his visuals, audio, and backstory.
Necro's going to have a field day with you saying that, by the way.
You just saw him go through in the show. So we're going to keep the gameplay you know and love, with a slight change to his ultimate. The ult will still function largely the way it does now, but it'll get bigger with every kill until the ult is over. We wanted to mirror the feeling from Arcane, where he manifests a massive, growing storm that consumes everything around him.
We also updated all of Victor's skins. We do want to point out that because of the updates to Prototype Victor, his price will be increasing from 520 RP to 750 RP. So if you want to get him at the cheaper price, make sure you get it before his updates go live. All right? That's it for the Arcane spoilers.
Okay.
So right
we
now,
knew that was
we'll
coming.
hand
That's
things
fine.
over to Steph and Chad to talk about seasons.
All
Hey
right, how are they
everyone,
going to do
I'm
this?
Chad, aka McIver. I'm the seasons lead on League of
100
Legends.
PC nuggets.
And I'm Steph, aka 100 Piece Nuggets, or the Cosmetics Lead.
In the last dev update, Medler and
That's
Pablo
a name.
mentioned we're introducing thematic seasons. So today, we're here to talk more about what a season is, what to expect with the theme, and what the experience is going to be like both on and off the Rift.
Over the years, we fleshed out the world and regions of Runeterra, as well as various alternate universes like
Think
Star
Necro would like to have a
Guardian,
word on
High
that, but
Noon,
sure.
or Darkstar.
Sure.
We've highlighted these worlds and moments like summer events or narrative drops around champion releases. Now we
gotten
want to
better.
take that immersion further with our new seasons.
So next year, we're going to have 3 seasons, each around 8 patches long, where we're going to follow champions around different regions.
Interesting. I don't. The season 3, I'm not 100% certain about. Especially, I wonder how this is going to align with pro. And I'm just not. I mean, maybe the fact that it will feel like different seasons, then maybe it's better. But this third act, this third part of the year has just been atrocious from a gameplay point of view.
Each one is going to have its own theme,
So,
but we're going to have an overarching
fine.
narrative that connects them throughout 2025.
And each season's theme will be the anchor for most of the content going into the game as well.
In
So
the
this
past,
is
you've
the
had these
natural
big
evolution of the Viego
releases like
storyline from
Swarm
2020.
or Spirit of Hearthhome. They're super memorable and fun, but they're also not connected to a larger integrated moment. And in seasons, we want everything to connect together. That
I
means
agree.
things
It's
like
good for the
gameplay updates, modes, mini games, and champions will mainly have a strong tie to the season's theme.
Does that mean
We'll
like
have
ARAM
a
will get
bunch of
updates
skins
every
that
time?
celebrate that seasonal theme, but we'll also continue to invest in a wide variety of skin lines that are unrelated to the season as well. So expect to see cosmetics celebrating Lunar Revel or things like bees.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
They
our
can't
goal
go
is
away.
to
That's fine.
immerse you in the parts of the world that you're visiting from the moment you open the client to the moment you see the victory screen and everything in between.
Smart.
So
Really, really
enough
good.
Tiptoeing around it. We know
Love
that
it.
you want to know what season 1 is.
Yes.
So for our first ever season, we are headed to the land of strength and domination, Noxus.
I would love. Sorry to keep pausing, but I'm just gonna talk about these things as we go. I would love to see the esports side of things mirror this as well. Like if esports is going to be part of the game, like it's fine that like obviously we're gonna have our own tournaments, our own structure, everything else around that. Like I would like this to be called like the Noxus split of LTA or whatever you want to call it. And like because by all means esports is going to emulate these exact seasons, barring maybe Worlds not being the third season there and kind of like having its own theme. We are going to reflect this in esports as well. So the esports should also blend in to this because these gameplay changes that they're going to have are going to
League. And I'm Riot Oberon,
be part of
project lead of the Summoners Rift team. Next year, when you step onto the Rift, it'll look a little bit different than you're used to. We want seasons to be a way you can immerse yourself in League, especially once you load onto the Rift. So we have a preview of some of the updates you can expect in Season 1 of 2025.
We're headed to everyone's favorite region of fierce fighters, cloak and dagger magic, and strength, above all. Prepare to be... decimated! Beyond the Noxian invasion of the map, we've also made some gameplay improvements and changes for next year.
First, it wouldn't be a new season without an overhaul to the item system. Just kidding. But there are some Noxian-themed boot upgrades.
Okay.
But it's not as simple as
cool.
picking
I
them
like
up
that.
from
It's
the
small,
shop.
but it's a nice touch.
In fact, they come along with a new mechanic, Feats of Strength.
There are 3 objectives that your team can claim throughout the game. First Blood, First Tower, and first 3 epic jungle monsters.
Okay.
If your team is the first to complete 2 of these 3 objectives, so for example, First Blood and First Tower, your tier 2 boots will transform into new versions with slightly better stats. You'll also get access to powerful Noxus-themed boots, which you can purchase as a final upgrade. We want Feats of Strength to celebrate early game successes without immediately snowballing the game out of
That's
control.
what I was about to say.
We're experimenting with different types of power progression to see how it feels for a reward in the early game to open up more choices in the late game.
We're also introducing Nexus turret respawning. An incredibly frustrating experience is just winning a late game teamfight only to lose your Nexus turrets. You kept the game alive, but at what cost? Now it feels like your team is doomed to hang around in your base for another 200 years, babysitting an open Nexus. To give your team a better chance at coming back from these situations, your Nexus turrets will now respawn after a set time once they're destroyed.
Interesting.
Now, your team can rally for an epic comeback without having to worry about a backdoor cast-in.
That's going to make
We're
some
also
games
adding some
really
new minor
long.
runes to rebalance some of the vision-related options in the domination
But I kind of
tree.
like it.
Sixth Sense, Grizzly Memento, and Deep Ward. As well as a new addition to the sorcery tree called Axiom Arcanist, which makes ultimates more powerful.
Oh boy.
We also couldn't resist changing items just a little bit. So we're adding some small scope adjustments to tank items and adding a new item called Bloodletter's Curse. Well, new-ish. It'll look familiar if you've spent time in Arena. But if you haven't, Bloodletter's Curse reduces the target's magic resistance from repeated spell hits, which is sort of like an AP version of Black Cleaver.
Finally, let's dig into the biggest update of the season, Adakon, Bringer of Ruin. The new epic jungle monster is drawn to death and destruction. He will spawn only once at 20 minutes on either the top or bottom side of the map, whichever side has seen the most champion damage and kills by 14 minutes. To signal where he'll make his entrance, Adakon's arena will spawn, adding new permanent walls to that side of the map.
Interesting.
Adakon's dark influence will also cause blood roses to grow periodically in the areas where champions have been killed. More death means more roses.
I like the idea of
Blood
this.
roses drop bloody petals for your entire team, which stack any number of times and last through the entire game. For each petal collected, your whole team gains a small experience and power boost. So if you see one, grab it.
Adakon has 2 forms, Ruinous and Voracious. Higher action games spawn Ruinous Adakon, who you might want to fight up close and personal to avoid his constricting rings of damage, which creates the perfect chance for an ace and a steal. Killing Ruinous Adakon grants bloody petals to the team who kills him and spawns a grove of blood roses in the area for anyone to collect. Voracious Adakon spawns in lower action
so you basically
games.
get more stacking.
He does
AP.
less damage to his enemies, but as his name implies, is hungrier. As his health gets lower, he gets an increasingly more powerful drain ability based on missing health. The team who takes down Voracious Adakon gets a one-time rebirth buff, similar to Guardian Angel. so now you really have a reason to force that team fight.
We're introducing Otacon for a couple of reasons. First, unless you're T1,
GA
a
mechanics
20-minute
are
Baron is pretty tough to get.
interesting.
So we're moving Baron's spawn back to 25 minutes and providing another mid-game macro option in the form of Otacon.
Oh.
Second, based on how Otacon plays out each game, we hope to see more different and interesting game states in both mid and late game. And we feel that designing an objective whose spawn location, form, and rewards are decided by how you play should make each game of League feel more varied.
I mean, it definitely
Our
does.
goal is for every
sure.
gameplay change to make League better. As we
Interesting
move
that
to
Baron
seasons,
spawn
this remains the same.
is 25
so
minutes.
these
Does that
changes
affect
were
Void
designed
Grub
for the
spawn?
long term. That said, we'll keep an eye on how they're landing and make adjustments if needed. But for now, Otacon and all the other updates are here to stay for good. We can't wait to see how these go as you start your climbs next year.
As part of building
Well, here to
seasons,
stay for
we took a
good,
look
but
at-
it's here to stay for that season. No, because if the season changes, then Otacon's no longer like, if it's not going to be a Noxus thing in season 2, then that doesn't remain the same. That changes as well. So you're gonna have to have different monsters, different like
how
epic
rewards
things
would be
every
part of the
single time.
overall seasonal experience. That led us to updating our reward systems. That means things like event passes, champion mastery, honor rewards, etc. We felt that this was a great time to address some problems that have built up. We're going to dive into those details, so bear with us.
First, over the years, these systems have become needlessly complex. With an excessive number of currencies, unnecessary steps to craft and claim rewards, overlapping loot types, we could go on. I've been given some key fragments that you have to then craft into a key that you pair with a chest, that you open up to get another key in a chest and some essence that you open up to
Y'all
get
are the
a
ones
skin
that made it
shard that you pair
complicated.
some orange essence or reroll to eventually get a random skin. That sort of level of unnecessary complexity going on.
Secondly, those systems are all scattered throughout the client. What you can earn, how and where you can track it, etc. sucks. And third, events and the rewards being only sometimes available make some moments less rewarding to play League.
So, here are some of the changes we're making. There will always be a battle pass active, with both a free and a paid track.
Okay,
with
we're
the
going
price
full
the same as an
Fortnite.
event pass
That's fine.
today. You'll get pass rewards through the tracks, meaning we're removing the event tokens and shop.
There will be 2 passes per season, with them tying into each season's thematic. That means most of the rewards will reflect what's going on in and around the game, and fewer random rewards. We'll have the same number of passes per year at 6, with a longer average duration per pass.
We're also moving
that's
most
good.
of our
Gives more
scattered
people
reward
time.
systems to the free track of those battle passes. So, most rewards will now be in one place, with systems like Honor and Champion Mastery feeding into the pass. For example,
Okay,
having a
probably
high
smart.
Honor level will give bonus to pass experience earned.
You can
That's
earn
good.
12 skins
That's
per
good.
year with the free pass.
That actually,
Half of these skins will be themed to the season you unlock them in. We'll also be simplifying the loot and crafting system.
Okay, that's actually
Orbs
good.
will always be available.
I really
so
like this.
Masterwork chests, for example, will get phased out since they serve such a similar purpose. Overall, we want the pass to be the core vessel for how you track and earn rewards.
Yep.
If you choose to buy the paid version, we also want it to be very clear what you're getting and how to make the most of it.
I think
Now,
that's fair.
these elements
I
have
think
a
that's
ton
an
of moving
overall
parts to
really
them.
positive
There's a lot
change.
more details
Doesn't
than
have
what
like
we've talked about just here. We'll cover that all.
doesn't have like the biggest tangible impact on like the game. It's like a quality of life change and is nice. By all means, I think like a battle pass is going to be like way more clear. But like there are bigger underlying issues that we're not really addressing at the
All in
moment,
the
which I
dev
still
blog
think
that's
is
out
like
right
the
now.
lack of premier voice.
Switching gears a
comms.
bit, I want to talk about another change for next year that isn't quite tied to seasons, but instead by feedback from all of you. Ranked resets. These have been a topic of a lot of conversation in recent years, particularly when it comes to feelings around how often you want to restart your climbs, how fast a climb should be, what feels rewarding versus what feels like a grind, etc.
This last split is
And
terrible.
looking back, we don't think 12 resets a year has been the right call for League. So, we're moving to 6 per year. Okay, just kidding. Please, put down the pitchforks. We're going back to 1 large reset at the start of each year, with no additional resets during the year.
Rank system tuning in terms of the size of the January reset, the number of the games to climb on average, and other systems will be similar to the numbers we used back in 2022 and before. That said, there will still be 3 victorious skins.
So
you
there
can
will be
earn,
3
one
check
for
marks,
each
but we're
season.
not actually
If you want to
resetting.
earn each skin, you will need to win 15 ranked games during that season.
Good.
Again,
That is
though,
a good
neither your
change.
visible rank nor
I
your
like that.
MMR will reset except in January.
I
Next
personally
up,
really
we want
like
to chat
that.
about a potential replacement for quick play that we'll be trying in some regions. It's called Swift Play, and it's meant to be a lower stakes experience than Summoner's Rift, though with more strategic elements than you'd find in, for example, ARAM. You'll still have the same
Quick
core
play
elements that
already
you'd expect
was-
to find in a game of Summoner's
Jesus.
Rift. You know, farming, snowballing, team fighting for objectives, etc. But with added changes to keep all players more competitive, like ramping gold and XP as the game goes on. Those changes won't make it so you can suddenly jump ahead of your opponent if you're 0 and 10, but they
Good.
will make it so that even if you're down, you're never completely out of the game.
The fact that Swift Play is also less punishing when behind should also make the mode ideal for those of you looking to play with friends you wouldn't be willing to put your LP on the line for. As mentioned, Swift Play will be rolling out in January to replace Quick Play in select regions. So we hope you'll give it a try and let us know
Yeah,
what you
not
think
all that many
when it
people
hits
play
live.
that, I don't think.
We also
It's really
have
not
a
that
blog
big.
dropping today with more details. so
Don't
be
think that
sure
really
to check
matters
that
all
out.
that much.
And last, but hopefully not least, we've got some changes coming to the practice tool. Over the years, you've told us that it's a useful but somewhat limited way to get better at League.
Yeah,
the
it's
most
literally just
common
grind
desire
solo queue.
we've seen people bring up is to practice with other players, whether it's in one-on-one duels with a friend or on a full teamfight drill with a pre-made team.
Practice Tool wasn't built with multiplayer in mind. And we've had some cautions about how League could be a lot less fun if the optimal way to get better is to spend almost all your time in Practice Tool rather than playing real games. But we do think we've likely been too cautious here. So we're going to be giving multiplayer Practice Tool a try.
Oh,
You should see that on the PBE soon. It's an experimental feature, and we'll probably encounter an interesting range of bugs. That said, though,
In other
we're
words, a
looking into
lot.
whether we can ship it as part of season start in January.
oh, dude,
And if
that's
that's
gonna,
not on track, we'll give you an update.
that
as
is
to
gonna
where it's
change
up to.
esports forever.
Before we wrap up, one last season.
That is going to change esports forever. Depending on how this looks, you can practice Baron flips. You can practice like so many different. Like you can start running drills in League of Legends now. Esport, like the curve for esports just got exponentially higher. If this is the case, oh, finally! Oh my god!
Thing.
Thank
We'll be
God.
changing up how we name patches to
Jesus.
match seasons. So instead of patch 15.1 coming out in January, it'll be patch 25.s1.1, calling out the year, season, and patch number. Season 2 will then kick off in patch 25.s2.1. You get the idea.
Okay, that is it from us today. The next time you hear from us will be in January, at the start of the season. We'll be back then to share some extra stuff that'll come out later in Season 1. We do want to acknowledge, though, that we've covered most of the big changes that you'll see day 1 next year. That said, still got a few surprises left.
And of course, we'll have the cinematic to kick things off. To
Good.
no one's surprise, we can confirm that it's also going to focus a lot on Noxus and Noxian
Okay.
champions. But that's all we can
Fine.
share for now.
We hope you all have a great December, great holiday season, and a happy new year. Thanks so much for everything, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
All right, here's the thing though, and I don't know, I don't think this is going to be all that controversial to say. You built up 2025 to be the year that was going to change League of Legends forever. That is clearly not the case. Like all the underlying issues, like great that it'll look a little bit different, but like the three big things that we needed a premiere mode, we needed voice comms in the game, and we needed a practice tool. I think we got the third one. Like the multiplayer practice tool, great, phenomenal. The other two, like the problem with the multiplayer practice tool is that like that is a esports specific thing that is not a like overall League of Legends, like changing the way it plays. This game is still very unfriendly for new people to come in and try, and they have not found a way to solve that problem. You have not made the ranked experience that people complain about better, really. Like you made a small change in terms of like the hard reset only being once per year, but you didn't change, like you didn't have premiere mode, no ranked fives, like nothing to like actually tangibly make a difference in the day-to-day of how people play. And then no voice comms as well is like my big thing there. Is, I mean, coming from Call of Duty, I love voice comms. Like I want to be able to talk to my team. Same thing with Valorant. Not having that kind of sucks. So while like I'm happy in terms of like the aesthetic of how the game is going to be in 2025 and what they're doing story-wise, I think the fundamental underlying like problems with the game went completely untouched. So it's basically going to be like another year that like looks good, but like fundamentally like not all that much changes. But let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Are you excited for this season or not? I mean, I personally am. I like what they're doing with this. I hope it bleeds over into esports as well, but I just really want to see them bring back some of the elements that we missed, apparently, like ranked fives that isn't just flex, please.